So again, if we're thinking about um, strategy on a continuum or on a spectrum ranging from cost leadership on the low end, the opposite end of the spectrum or the opposite end of the scale, if you will, is differentiation. So differentiation is taking action to produce products that customers view as being distinct and highly desirable. And the key to that is you've got to be distinct and desirable in ways that are important to the customers. So for instance, I'm going to tie all of this back to Globus for you. In Globus, um, it is well established that customers have a preference for drones that will fly outside of the line of sight of the viewer, and for drones that will stay in the air for a longer period of time. So if you're attempting to make a distinctive or different product that's highly desirable to customers, that customers would be willing to pay more for, then you should concentrate on making a drone with a better flight controller and a more battery life. Okay, so that's making it distinctive in ways that are different or that are attractive to your customers. Differentiators target customers who don't mind paying more because they perceive value differently. And innovation is really critical to differentiation strategy. So with Globus, that's going to be critical for you to use research and development, because research and development is a cumulative expenditure that helps you to establish better products, more innovative products, and you can do that more cheaply. So differentiation is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from the cost leadership strategy. So get this slide to advance. So what we're after is customers that don't mind paying for the distinctive products. We want the products to be different in such a way that they are highly valued. And in this case, you don't really necessarily worry about the price to PQ relationship as much, because the customers want a distinctive product. They perceive that it's going to be premium priced. In other words, it would be priced at less value than maybe what the market defines as value. It would be at a higher price than what you might expect to pay otherwise. So you've got to consistently upgrade your products using features that people want, and you've got to create new valuable features that don't necessarily have big cost increases coming along with them. So there's some risk with differentiation. One of the risks is being over differentiated or differentiated and made distinctive in a way in which customers aren't going to pay. Customers don't perceive the value of the differentiated products. And sometimes, you know, in the real world, products get counterfeited. If you don't believe me, just walk down the sidewalk in New York City and see all of the Louis Vuitton bags and the Hermes bags and the Gucci bags that aren't real, but they're being offered as knockoffs. Another risk of the differentiation strategy is if too many people pursue the differentiation strategy, customers experience is shown in Globus that about 10% of the customers are actually willing to pay for that premium product. So if you get too many people competing for those customers, you can actually have suppressed value, and there's just not enough demand to go around on those distinctive differentiated products. So I guess the best example I can give maybe is Louis Vuitton, which, if you know your French, stands for the truth. Apple has a differentiated product. They actually had an ad campaign back in 2015 that said if it's not an iPhone, it's not an iPhone. Maybe you catch what's written under there. It doesn't matter what we do, you'll buy it anyway. And it seems like Apple certainly has a very loyal brand following, and of course I've given you the example of why Apple has such a loyal brand following, for me at least. And then you've got Lexus, which we all know is just a fancy Toyota with a different badge on it, right? But Lexus positions their product as the relentless pursuit of perfection. They're after something higher, and they're not going to sell to a customer who would be content with a Toyota Camry. That customer is valuing the prestige. there certainly are other brand names that you could bring up that are differentiated provider. Um, you know, and maybe a Lexus is just an average car to you. Um, we've been driving a Lexus RX since 2009, I think, is when my wife got her first Lexus. She's on her second, but for her, it's about comfort, it's about safety. So it's just kind of an everyday car for us. Um, then you've got, the Lamborghini, which is certainly differentiated for some folks, and you even go beyond that to handmade Italian sports cars that can cost millions of dollars each. So that differentiation is kind of a continuum spectrum in and of itself, in that it's not just this is the differentiated provider. Now, if you want to talk in literal terms, there can be one differentiated provider, the most differentiated provider. But what there really is different customer groups with different preferences depending on what the particular price point is. And what you have to do with differentiation is you have to make it distinct in such a manner as it is what your customers actually desire and are willing to pay more for. So you've got to be careful when you differentiate. I'm not going to spend much time on the focus strategies, but that'll be the next video.